morning, everybody. Natalie coming to you live. Spirit and coffee. Got my coffee here. So lovely. Good coffee. Good morning to those on Facebook. If I don't see you on Facebook, I could say good morning to the regulars that typically get on Facebook. It's a handful that have stuck in there till the end. Thank God. But really thinking this morning, I'm really excited. I'm going to be building a website. Good morning. How are you? Surish. And good morning, Judster. Judster. Sorry, I say these names completely incorrect. I apologize if I'm butchering it. I apologize. I'm not trying to. So excited because the website is starting to get built, and I'm working with some individuals who have sort of honed in and are asking me pointed questions. It's really good. It's really exciting. And I was working with someone in the past, and they were amazing. They were just as equally good. I just had to find a platform where everything could be integrated and all at once. So if you guys are on here, have any testimonials you want to send about, Spirit and Coffee, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, Natalie, right? It could be that the practices and the principles or the concepts that are being discussed have helped, right? And Persian name, Persia. I have a very dear friend who's from Afghanistan who is Persian, but he's Jahid Shah, Sayed, Jahid Shah. Beautiful names. Persian is such a beautiful language, and the writing is beautiful, by the way. Very, very pretty, like calligraphy. Anywho, I'm looking for testimonials. So it doesn't have to be a testimonial of, if you guys want to send it in, it's totally up to you. But, I just feel like it'd be nice for people to start engaging and hearing what are the experiences of the practices or the concepts that we go over here, because really it's about you guys, right? It's not really about me. It is. I mean, I know within business, people will say, well, they're buying you, or that you're selling yourself, or, whatever it is. But the reality is that my hope is that people that come to me know that it's about them. It's not about me. It's about you. And that's the concept, and it's always going to be the concept. And I'm always going to circle back to that. When people join in on this podcast, when people join in on these live videos, really it's golden nuggets for themselves. Hopefully they're walking away with something to enrich and enhance their life. It's not about me. I know what I'm up to. I know what I'm doing, right? I could just not do this podcast and live my life and whatever, but I have this desire, this altruistic desire to give back to humanity in a way that may serve others, right? So that they're really giving back their gifts to life in the way that they choose to. So if you feel compelled to give a testimonial, there may be someone here that's like, well, I don't know, I've just barely started showing up. Please do so, though. spiritandbrew@gmail.com. That's spiritandbrew@gmail.com. That is the email, or you can just put it in an instant messenger, or you could go to Facebook at Spirit and Coffee 1 and then drop it into the messages and just say, hey, these concepts have helped me, however they've helped you. If you want to, if you like me, that's cool. You can say you like me. That's fine. If you don't, you can say that too. It's okay. We love everybody here, even if they don't like me. Because again, it's not about me. It's about you. So working on the concepts, really excited, you guys. There seems to be sort of this pivoting point in all of the crazy that's happened in the last year or so. And hopefully you guys are experiencing this shift in transformation. Good morning, Jack Radio. So what's happened, right, is we sort of kind of have moved into Aquarius, right? And it kind of felt like the dark night of the soul. And the reason why we sort of feel what's called the dark night of the soul is really what we call a tower event. And like, if you looked at the tarot, it would say this is a tower event. And we have these events, right? But there was a cosmic dark night of the soul where we're sort of trying to let go of the old and step into the new. And the new age is what? It's the technology age, right? Where there's information and, information and technology is at the tip of our fingers. However, there's also this conversation. So there's sort of this split of like, does the technology and all this stuff, is it pulling us further away from our natural state and essence of who we are, which is the world around us and how we engage in nature and how we allow nature to unfold organically, rather than kind of this force in, technology and all these things. So is there a good ebb and flow? Can we do a both and? Is that possible? And I think that, so the age of Aquarius is really information, right? It's understanding that it's a bunch of things, right? Another thing that it is, and the thing that it is for you, is that it's a new dialogue for you. It's a new opportunity to reinvent yourself. It's an opportunity for you to rise up, good morning, Sally, into your divine purpose, your divine birthright, or your myth story. And I've been talking about these myth stories for a little bit, because as I'm taking Kung Fu, right, I just started retaking Kung Fu again. And I took it in college. And I got a yellow belt, right? That's all as far as I went. I was like yellow, and I was like, I don't want to test in front of people. But what I love about this particular process, and it's really ingrained in my head, is that it's not, Kung Fu is not just about the movements and fighting and beating people up. That's not what it's about, right? Or protecting yourself. I mean, it is about that, but it's so much more. It's so rich with culture and the story. And I was thinking, wow, we talk about these stories, right? If we looked at the ancient traditions and cultures, they handed down the lineage and the ways of life through our words, through symbols, through storytelling. And then we picked those up and we created culture, right? But how cool is Kung Fu, right? To take the myth, tell the story, and then put a beautiful dance behind it that not only helps heal your body, but protects you if there's something or predators, and also helps you to engage if you need to protect yourself. So it's quite amazing, the system, right? And how the story of each movement has this myth behind it. I mean, that is cool, right? And we look at ancient systems of a yoga, Kundalini. If we looked at all of these different systems, they're really myths being told in some sort of movement or whatever it is. Kind of cool, right? Are you still on Podbean? Yes, I am. I'm still on Podbean. You can catch me on Podbean. And so it's quite amazing. It has been just a phenomenal thing. And so for you guys, right, the ones that are hanging in there, tell me, how is your life, right? Is your life enriched? And yes, I'm on Podbean. I don't know if you're still on there, Surash. So again, it's to enrich our life, to create a new storyline, which is quite amazing. And the more that you guys tune into this type of information, right? I'm not the only one talking about this, I'm sure. I mean, I don't watch I don't know what everybody else is talking about in popular media. I don't really pay attention to all that, right? But I'm sure that this is being discussed in other platforms with other people, and they're sort of telling you like this idea. But the reality is you're tapping into what storyline do you fit into, right? We've talked about that before. So the dark night of the soul has allowed us to open up the gates for a new storyline. And that's where we're at. We're creating something different. We're looking at life through a new lens. We're saying the old doesn't work, but parts of the old we still keep, the ones that do, and then we sort of recreate and reshape this new reality around us. And that's where we're at. And some people are struggling a little bit with this. And it makes sense. I mean, it's not an easy process, right? To just all of a sudden change the storyline. Think about children. Children, when they're where their kids, they need habit, they need structure, and they sort of get panicked when things aren't the same. They kind of like, what's going on? So as humans, it's just a natural thing for us to want these patterns to kind of repeat themselves, right? That gives us safety and security. If the sun didn't rise one day, I think everybody would freak out, right? All of a sudden, or the moon disappeared. I think people would totally freak out, right? There would be this big panic, like, what? The moon's always there. Why isn't it there? I don't get this. So we're sort of looking at life through this new lens. Like, why is all this happening? I don't even know how to grab onto something. And people are trying to grab onto different things, but there's so much information they don't know what to grab onto. And that's where people are kind of like, where do I go from here? Okay. And that's really that's what I'm here to do. There's going to be several people, I'm sure, in your life, especially if you're staying on these podcasts, you yourself are an individual who's reaching for that and trying to understand and saying, how do I lead my people into a direction, right? That's going to support them so that they can then start to magnify and start to recreate and reinvent their life without the total fear that they're losing out on something. There's nothing to lose, right? If we trust and surrender to God and allow ourselves to move through it, right? Then there's this beautiful thing that sort of unfolds in some way. And I'm not saying that there's not pain and suffering that comes along with it, because there is. And for those that are going through that pain and suffering, complete prayer, right, for them, that they find their way out of that. So that's why I was reading this Healing Through Dark Emotions by Miriam Greenspan. This was a book that I was reading for my master's program. It's really good. And we just went through it because it is alchemy. And it was great being here. Yes. And it's great having you here. So have a great day. Thank you for showing up. And you're welcome to come on whenever you can. I would love to see more of you on here or my podcast, whatever it is that you want to do, however you want to engage. So we left off on emotion phobia, whereas like people are afraid to feel the emotional states of being. And I know that I talked about this is when I feel like individuals were showing up when I started talking about Moses and Moses's staff and standing firm in your spiritual principle. And there seemed to be this maybe tapping into the conscious of the collective consciousness, right? Where people started to show up because of this, because it was the fire energy, right? It's being able to identify what are the spiritual practices in your life that you're utilizing to help you. What staff are you holding, okay? So emotions live in the body. Contrary to popular ideas, feelings are all in our head. Emotions live in the body. They explode us into ecstasy or devour us with pain. They make us fidget and squirm, surge with adrenaline, or go numb and lifeless. They affect the rate at which our hearts beat and the level of balance in various hormones, influencing the way that we breathe, think, work, digest our food, and make love. As any therapist knows, the body carries a host of emotional wounds, of sexual abuse or emotional neglect, of unmourned losses and unspoken grief. And that's key right there, the unspoken grief, right? It's the grief that we don't talk about, that we're holding inside of us, that needs to let go. We're in a time where we can do that, right? We can let go of that, and we can open up to that and be authentically ourselves and say, hey, I'm going through some shit right now. And we don't have to pretend it doesn't exist, because I think, especially in the Western world, we pretend everything's perfect, everything's good. It's not. Things are, super hard or complex or whatever it is. And we hold that grief inside of us, and then we don't know how to release it. And so we get sick. It's an internal sickness, right? We carry a host of emotional wounds. Grief. Sorry, where was I? We will not learn the wisdom of the dark emotions so long as we internalize a culture that abhors or ignores the body's intelligence. Think about how your body feels when you're frightened or in despair, sad or jubilant. Well, it's obvious that emotions are versatile in the body's experience. Many of us don't really get this. When I ask a new client in psychotherapy, what are you feeling right now? They often don't know. This is a huge question, especially when I do my coaching. What are you feeling? Good morning, Sally. Where do you feel it? How do you feel it? Or salty? Sorry, salty brie. I was like, wait, what is that? I thought I saw Sally, and I need contacts. Let me do this real quick. So, yeah, despair, jubilant. Hold on one second. What are you feeling right now? Okay, so when we ask people in coaching, what are they feeling? They don't know what to say, right? They're like, I'm feeling. Good morning, ZBC, Sandra, Habiman. I don't know if you guys are still on here, but good morning. Good morning on Facebook too, for those of you who might be there. Please leave your messages in Facebook if I don't, because I can't see what you're writing, if you're writing anything, and I'll go back and answer any questions or anything like that. But again, it's the what are you feeling right now is an interesting question. I want to talk about this because most people don't really know what they're talking. Like you ask them, how do you feel? Where do you feel it in the body? And then they're like, well, I feel sad. And I'm like, no, that's not your body. So I'm doing a lot of somatic training for, my master's program, right? We do somatic training. We're doing body consciousness, body wisdom. Even in Kung Fu, you're aware of the body. You're aware of the way the body's moving through the world. You're becoming part of it. Good morning, Doreen. And you're understanding how your body moves through the world, right? There's a body consciousness, and our body holds wisdom internally. That internal wisdom that we have, right, is communicating to us. But because the Western world has become a society of just the brain, right? We've become very mechanical, mechanistic. It's all about the brain. It's all about think, that we've totally shut off the vessel and the body. Okay, but the body itself is trying to communicate with you. It's saying something to you. It's telling you something. There's a wisdom inside of you. And it's really crazy because if we start to listen to the wisdom in our body, we start to understand how to adjust our life, adjust ourselves, right? Sometimes we're off balance and we're like, wait, am I off balance? And yes, you're off balance. Why? Because the body's off balance. So we're tapping into the body and we're saying, whoa, wait, what's going on with the body? Maybe my step is off, right? Or maybe my hip is off. And what is my hip telling me? What information's there? What's available for me in that particular part of my body? How do I breathe into it so that I can find my balance again? Right? And then you look at your life and you say, wow, my life is off balance, right? And so as within, so without. And so there's this wisdom, right? Or am I stepping too fast? Or am I moving too fast? Maybe I was moving too fast and I hurt my hip, and my hip's telling me, slow down. That happened to me one time. I'll tell you a story. I was in the airport. I think I've told this story before, but I was like trying to hurry my butt up. That's really what happened. I was like, let me just run like a crazy lady up the escalator in slippery shoes. Okay. And I was just rushing. And, I was there early enough. I wasn't going to miss my plane. I already had my ticket. I had a lot of time. And I was just go, 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 go. And I slipped, okay, on the escalator. I slipped because I was wearing these flat shoes, and I slipped. And I fell straight on my knees and boom, 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 down like 4. And when you hit like this and your bone just hits, I really screwed myself up, right? I got to the top. I thought I busted my knee out. And so I got up and I was like limping and I couldn't move my leg. And I'm like, oh my God, it's not. And it swelled. I had to get ice and stuff. But thankfully it healed good and I was fine. But it was a mess. It could have, if I didn't take care of it, it would have been worse. And I really did a number on myself for sure. I mean, I was bruised. It was swollen. I couldn't walk on it for a while. It was a mess. And so I was like, I sort of laughed, right? Because that's what I do when I'm in pain. That's me. I laughed and I said, Natalie, what are you doing? Slow down. Okay. My body was communicating to me, right? I was overdoing it. So there's little things that our body tells us, slow down. I did the same thing with my ankle. I rolled my ankle. I said, I'm going to slow down. And what do you think I did? I went and I was acting crazy. Good morning to you on Podbean. Salud. And I sprained my ankle. After I said I was going to slow down and I went fast. And so there you go. Your body's going to communicate. And then doing these mindful walks. So there's ways that you can tap into the body to do these mindful walks, right? Where you sort of are mindful of everything that you're doing. Tibetan yoga does this, and actually in Kung Fu, Qigong, we do those mindful kind of walking steps. And you're sort of paying attention to every little step, every little thing. You're allowing your weight to be transferred slowly and before you transfer the weight. And you're kind of looking and you're being mindful. And it's a meditative practice, but it's also a practice in body wisdom, recognizing what the body's doing and allowing that. You could also do this, allow your body to move you. Let your body move you. Steady your head. What happens when you let the body lead, right? Where does it take you? So all sorts of practices in this, okay? So when someone says, especially when we're doing alchemy work or, and even like coaching work and stuff like that, where do you feel it in your body? Where? Not the sensation, but where? Oh, in my stomach. Oh, in my nose. Oh, people just are so disconnected from this. And this is the key, right, for you to move your vessel in the direction that you choose to go. You have to interlock those things, the mind and the body together, not separate. The mind isn't going to direct the body. Let the body direct the mind and see what happens. See what's available for you or what's there. Okay, so again, moving through the dark emotions and understanding how the body functions, even with those dark emotions that show up. They often don't know. They're likely to say, I'm upset, which is an inexact at best. Asked to locate their feelings in the body, many seem disoriented, puzzled by the question. I've asked this question many times as well, as though I'm speaking in a foreign tongue, or they confuse the feeling with thoughts. Absolutely. I'm feeling that my husband is not really sensitive to my needs. Very, very true. Again, confusion. There's a confusion there. And it's okay. I did the same thing when I first started doing body work. I'm like, wait, what? Okay, I'm feeling that this is the last time I'll ever let my son drive the car, or I'm feeling life sucks and then you die. Most of us overly cerebral about feelings, right? We're very in the brain. We can spend 20 years in psychoanalysis and in the end know how to talk about emotions, but not how to feel them. Love that. It's another thing I can say with my coaching, right? I've done a lot of coaching with individuals, and don't get me wrong, if you're seeing a counselor, see a counselor. What I love about coaching, though, is that it takes you a bit further, right? It's like people will say, well, this and that and the other. And I'm working with an individual right now. And that's one thing I said, where do you feel it in your body? And what if you can describe, I feel it here. Okay, what now? Feel into that sensation. Now, exactly what word would you put behind that sensation? If you can put one word. Well, this, okay. And then we went through some process. And the thing is at the end of the day, right? She's like, I never made the connection, but she's been going to a therapist, and her whole life she'll go to a therapist and the connection may never be there. So coaching provides something that's I think a bit deeper. And like I think she was saying in the book, right? That's the case. So tapping into the body, to allow the dark emotions to arise, to feel into them, to ask yourself where, right? And there's a whole process involved in that stuff as well. So somatic, just look at it, somatic training for, into emotional states of being or something, and see what happens. You can also read the book, Healing Through Dark Emotions, The Wisdom of Fear, The Wisdom of Fear, Grief, Fear, and Despair by Miriam Greenspan. It's a great book, okay? So there you have it. Happy Friday. I'll let everybody go, but I'm doing a website, and if you can, anybody's interested in doing testimonial, please send them to me. That'd be great. I'm excited to get that up and going for you guys. A little bit more supportive and a place and space for everything to exist in one spot. And hopefully it'll be helpful for me too. So have a fantastic, fabulous, phenomenal, fun, funky, freaky, fantastical Friday. And I will be seeing you guys on Monday, and then I will be traveling. So maybe I won't get on Spirit and Coffee. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay. So I love you guys. Thank you for showing up for yourself. And I will be seeing you guys soon. Bye.